All right, Virgo. So the events that you've experienced are now all lining up in order for you to have a breakthrough finally in areas of your life where there may have been stagnation. So keeping up immense effort in advance, and then the fates. The fates talks about events that are preordained or fated by spirit for a greater purpose that you are not meant to understand in this lifetime. That bothers me a little bit because you're being asked to keep up and keep up all of the hard work here and not to give up on the areas of your life where you feel like nothing is happening, because all of the events that you've experienced that may have been negative in the past have led you to this point now. So this is kind of like Spirit's way of saying that, yeah, we know that you've been through a lot of shit, but it was for a reason. And that reason is so that you can have a huge breakthrough. You know, we're talking about advancement here. So that is the good news. Now, the other thing with the fates, though, it does talk about needing to know the difference between the things that you can change and the things that you can't. So with the fates, I feel like for a lot of you, not only is this about past events that are leading up to this point, you're still going to have to deal with certain situations while you're trying to have this breakthrough. And you need to be able to look at certain events and go, I can't change it. I can't control it. It is what it is. Your time and effort is better spent in the areas of your life that you can change and you can control. All right, Virgo. Here's your overall. The Six of Wands. Nice, nice. Victory, victory. And definitely breakthrough, but also being recognized for doing the right thing. I like it. I like it because to me it's like, finally, it's about time. It's about time that, you know, I'm recognized for all the hard work that I've been doing. And then not only that, but again, having, you know, everything finally open up instead of being at a standstill or feeling like, you know, there's no point because it's never going to change, right? And that is the big thing here, is that it is, and it will. Okay, in the past, the Five of Swords. So extreme miscommunications, fighting, arguments, dealing with somebody who is trying to keep you down. I look at this one and I look at the way that it's kind of connected here, and I feel like this person doesn't really care, and they know and they see that you're in pain, but that doesn't matter to them because they got what they wanted. You know, I also look at this as somebody who is trying to kind of force their point of view on you. They want to keep you in your place or keep you down, but this is past. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. So the Six of Swords, you're done with it. And what I like about the Six of Swords is that, yeah, you've left that. It's done and over with. It's not something that you feel like you need to carry with you anymore. So it's like, done. I'm moving on. I'm getting away from that now. I'm no longer going to put myself in situations where I'm being controlled. That's kind of what I feel like here. And for you, it is going to be, you know, this personal victory here. It looks really good. Very nice, very nice. So the Queen of Cups in future conditions. Now, I look at that and, you know, like I've said before, when it comes to court cards, the queens to me are more about what we're internalizing. Now, it definitely could be because of another person. Water, male, female, doesn't matter. But in terms of you, though, with the Queen of Cups being in future conditions, looking at the Six of Wands, this to me is like you being more emotionally sound, in being in a better place emotionally. But I also feel like for a lot of you, you may feel like you were taken advantage of. But I look at this with the Six of Wands and think that, you know, this is going to be a victory for you where you feel better now that you have left this situation that may have been mentally and emotionally taxing on you. Okay. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Cups. Whatever it is that you're leaving, whatever difficult situation that you're moving away from, it is going to be better for you in the long run. But with the Seven of Cups, you can't go back and look at how good things could have been or what you could have done differently, right? Because we're still looking at, your own personal victory here and you being able to kind of like come home to yourself. I look at this and think, yeah, all these different things could have happened with this situation, but what you experienced is what it is. There's nothing that you can do or nothing that you could have done that would have changed it. But it makes sense to me, right? Now, for some of you though, looking at this, I also feel like if you have, other things available to you, it's time to kind of stop fantasizing about what could be and get moving, But this definitely needs to be let go of. And it quickly happens. It's quickly and abrupt. I almost feel like for some of you, because I look back at, the Seven of Cups and the Queen of Cups, I'm worried that there's still a little bit of an emotional attachment to a very difficult situation. You clearly see it for what it is. With the Eight of Wands, it's like right now, energy is moving super quick here. I don't think that this is about communication here. I think it's about things lining up. And again, events lining up in a way that brings you to a closure, or moving on or seeing advancement. But what I worry about is that maybe, you acted too quickly. But I still feel like it's going to be better for you in the long run. There may still be an emotional attachment to this. But don't second guess yourself here. And I kind of worry about that a little bit with the Seven of Cups, if we're talking about you looking back at how good things could have been. But definitely with the Eight of Wands, it's like, oh, nope, not dealing with that. I'm gone. Your hopes and fears, strength, yeah, needing to, stay the course here and not, go back. But I don't see that happening. I mean, with the Six of Wands being the overall, I do think that, you're going to get validation that you did the right thing. That's kind of what I get from this. But looking at strength as hopes and fears, it makes sense, right? Needing to have the strength to continue to move on and move away and leave it in the past. It is what it is. And then coming out the Nine of Wands. I feel like there's still a little bit of a battle with yourself about this. I mean, clearly you've been put through a lot. And now, the wall is being built. There are things that you're not willing to let in anymore. But then at the same time, I look at that Queen of Cups and I think that, there's still that part of you that is emotionally wanting to experience something different from this than what it was. And again, you can't change it. You can't control it. It is what it is. But I almost feel like you're not hearing the validation that you've done the right thing. But we'll see here. With the Nine of Wands, though, coming out, it would make sense, though, too, that there is a part of you that is no longer willing to be emotionally open to, anything else. It's almost like I'm not ever going to do that again. I'm not ever going to let anybody in again, right? And you don't want to be that way. But like I said, there's a feeling here that for a lot of you, despite the fact that you've been put through so much, I think that there's still this feeling of it could be different. But could it though? And then the Three of Wands. What are you waiting on? What is it that you're waiting for? Oh, okay. So now with the Fool. Looking at that with the Five of Swords, absolutely, right? Being blind to the snake that's in front of you. You took a leap of faith on something that didn't exactly go well. And that's fine. And I do think that for a lot of you, you're not willing to take that risk again. But like I said, I also feel like there's a part of you that, kind of a little bit. I don't see you actually doing it, but I think that there is a part of you that still wishes that things could have been different. And I think that you would act on that if it was, an option for you. But then at the same time, there are things that, you're not letting in anymore because of what you've experienced. The Ace of Swords, the truth. The truth is clear to you. Everything has been made clear. There is mental clarity in moving away from this. You are getting validation that you are doing the right thing. You may have acted quickly, but again, I look at the Eight of Wands and I feel like the truth has led you to a place where everything is lining up now for you to move on. Now, with the Three of Wands, again, this is kind of where I go back to this feeling of, waiting. But with the Nine of Wands, I look at that and, I don't think that you know what is coming at you or what to expect. Now, normally when I look at the Three of Wands, I look at this and feel like, you should already know what to expect here because these are the things that you're acting toward. But I think that you're waiting for something to come back to you or waiting for something to happen before, you take any action. But at the same time, there's a part of you that's like really hurt, That's kind of what I feel from that, looking at the Nine of Wands. But are you giving up, though, and no longer wanting to protect yourself? And are you, allowing yourself to be open to a situation that, you do need to move on from, and this, right? And I go back to Strength and think, yeah, this is a victory for you, but you may not see it that way. But I also look at that Six of Wands and think that this is about validation that you're getting, but I don't think that you're hearing it that way. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I expected to have happen. Yeah. So wisdom, needing to pay attention to the wisdom that you have gained through your experience and taking the initiative to allow love back into your life and not, the kind of love that is going to hurt you or stab you in the back and let you down and make you feel like you've been taken advantage of. And miracles, expect the wondrous to emerge, needing to ground yourself and allow miracles to happen. Don't give up, Virgo. This may have been one of those situations that you expected to be really, really good. But I feel like better things are coming for you once you realize that this situation is not going to change. Again, these events are lining up in a way where you get to see a breakthrough. It's going to be a lot of hard work. But don't wait. Don't, put your life on hold and wait for something to come to you. You need to go out there and you need to get it, right? With initiative being there, yes. But this situation, may have had a huge impact on you. And I look at grounding and I think, yeah, you need to, kind of get back in tune with yourself again, and being a little bit more emotionally sound. And absolutely, you're going to have to pull on your inner strength here to continue to move on from this.